Achieving some degree of shaft lean at impact is very beneficial if you want to hit the ball more consistently and hit the ball further than ever before. We see the pros able to deliver the club in this fashion all the time, and yet so many amateur golfers strive to achieve this position with little to no success. And the reason most of you get this wrong is because the concept on how to deliver shaft lean is poor. You're getting the concept completely wrong, which does never allow you to achieve the shaft lean results that you're looking for. Today's video is going to tackle the specific areas where you're getting shaft lean wrong and then help you to overcome those errors to be able to achieve the shaft lean of your dreams. There are two very specific and very common reasons where you are getting shaft lean incorrect. I'll start with the most common one, the one that happens at impact. Just the concept of shaft lean itself and what it should look like, feel like, and how we should deliver this club to the ball has a very specific way of being presented, and yet most of you are getting this incorrect. Shaft lean is the fact that the handle of the club is further forward than it was at setup. The shaft is angled towards the target. But if you take a look at the club face here in the example that I do, I could push the shaft forwards and keep the face of the club more or less straight up and down or square, neutral, or I could push the handle of this club further forwards and at the same time open this golf club excessively. And it's not surprising to many of you that this is the one that you're doing, this is the one that you're trying to do, and this is why you're getting it wrong. When you push the handle forward, you also extend the lead wrist. We'll see that on the Hack Motion wrist sensor. I've got the wrist extended as I push the handle forwards. Really, the wrist should be flat or flexed. See how I'm moving the wrist from an extension into flexion, and as I move the wrist from extension to flexion, I twist the shaft and thereby twist the club face back into this neutral condition. So it isn't enough to simply say I need to have my hands more forward, because if you move them forward in the incorrect way by extending the lead wrist, you'll open the club face and produce a club face that will never hit a functional shot. If you even manage to convince yourself to hold the shaft forward in this condition, you'd hit the ball so far to the right that your brain would never allow you to do that again. And what it does in response is it knows at some level this club face is completely non-functional, and so it stalls your hands, lets the club head try to play catch up in the very last part of the swing to try and square the face and get something functional from a club face position so that you don't hit the ball completely off the planet. But in doing so, in order to square the club face, you've had to slow the hands down, and now you're flipping. And in the flipping that causes all the poor contact of hitting the ground before the ball, thinning the ball and topping the ball. So you have this huge merry-go-round of trying to have shaft lean, doing it in the wrong way that opens the club face, forcing you to flip and scoop, which causes you to get bad contact. That's a cycle I'd like to help you get out of. So when you lean the shaft forwards, push the handle forwards, you also need to twist the shaft, twist the grip, twist your wrist in a way that squares the face. Now I can deliver that shaft lean with a functional club face that will allow me to deliver better power, lower dynamic loft when I hit the ball, and ultimately hit better shots. This is the way the pros do it. And we take a look at the avatar there, we can see that the wrist is in a small amount of flexion, whereas previously it was extended. Extension, flexion, twisting the club face open versus twisting the club face closed. Shaft lean needs to be delivered in association with a flat or a flexed lead wrist. Quick question for you. Did you know that 80% of your golf ball's direction comes from the club face angle at impact? And it's your wrists that control that angle. If you want to hit straighter shots and add more distance to your game, then check out the link in the description below. And the second most common mistake that you're making when it comes to shaft lean and where you get it wrong is in the transition from top of the backswing into the downswing. We've just talked about how the idea of having the handle or the shaft forward when you hit the ball is very much in your mind if you're trying to create this shaft lean concept. And so what happens at the top of the swing is you get up here and you pull on this shaft excessively and you twist it in the wrong way. Exactly in the same way we just spoke about with regards to the extension of the wrist, twisting of the wrist in this condition, which opens the club face. You're making that mistake in the transition because in your mind, this is your way of pulling the handle down, pulling the shaft down, and pulling the club into the position where the handle is going to be in front of the club head at impact. Once again, you're doing it in a way that's producing that open club face at impact that we've already covered. It happens up here because as you get to the top, it's this movement, this first movement down, you're trying to put that emphasis and that force into those wrists and into that grip to help you deliver the shaft lean that you desire. The problem is, as I've said, you're twisting the wrist into extension, which is twisting the club face open. That would look like this in the early downswing. The club face is angled up towards the sky and the lead wrist is extended with this cupping in the back of it. The correct way to do this, if you want to achieve the shaft lean feeling in transition, would be to pull the club down while flexing the lead wrist. That's twisting the shaft, twisting the grip, twisting the face down towards the ground. So now I'm in a perfect position here. I've already established the correct wrist feels and the wrist angles coming down. And in doing so, I'm able to get the shaft ahead of the ball at impact with this flexed wrist condition, which allows me to have that face already lined up. We've talked about this problem already. It happens at impact because some of you are only thinking about shaft lean at the point of impact. Others are thinking about it in the transition and how to pull that club down quickly. Your checkpoint needs to be coming down, stopping where the club is parallel to the ground in the downswing, and making sure that your club face angle is slightly down towards the ground. If you see that club face pointing up, you've extended your lead wrist and you're just about to deliver a club face that is super open. Or, once again, you'll have to stall, flip to try and square that club face up. So the real trick to getting shaft lean correct over all of this is lead wrist flexion. The lead wrist needs to be flexed, bowed in this condition to some extent in order to have the handle of the club in front of the club head while at the same time maintaining sufficient club face control. If I just shove the handle forward and extend the wrist, club face is going to point up to the sky, which would be an extremely open club face, zero functional shots. Hopefully today's video has helped you to see and understand what the lead wrist needs to do in order to deliver the shaft lean. The best drill for this exercise is to come down and train the feeling of excessive flexion in the lead wrist to allow you to have a lot of shaft lean and to stop the swing very quickly just after impact while holding on to that flexion. Let me go ahead and show you what I mean. So rehearsing the feeling of flexion at impact, you'll see on the avatar there I've got around 11, 12 degrees of flex in the lead wrist and keeping that feeling of the flex past the ball. That's keeping the feeling of this wrist condition, not just at impact, but also past impact. See the numbers there, 12 degrees, 12, 13, 14, 15 degrees. I'm maintaining that feeling of flexion, which is keeping the face square to the arc as I swing through. My intention in the exercise is to do that not just as I hit the ball, but also just past the ball, holding on to that feeling of the flex or the flat wrist condition, that really twisted wrist condition. Let me hit one of those for you. I know I had lots of shaft lean there. In fact, the hack motion tells me that my wrist was too flexed, both at the top of the swing and at impact. But if I was training to increase and improve the amount of shaft lean I could deliver at impact, I'd actually want my numbers on the hack motion to be telling me that I'm doing too much flexion. Extra flexion allows for extra shaft lean. And of course, that was an exercise where there was a short follow through. It was a drill. It was a specific drill to exaggerate the flexion and exaggerate the shaft lean. If I did that sufficient times, I'd start to see the balls drawing slightly, curving to the left, which would be desirable for this type of exercise. And I'd also be getting the feeling of making good contact. Let's do one more of those. Shaft lean, hold on to that flexed wrist angle through the ball. Really, really good contact again. Ball starts to the right, curves back to the left. Once again, too flexed at both the top of the swing and at impact. That's exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to training these wrist angles for more shaft lean. So you've got your drill that you could do there. Let me just go ahead and hit one with the same amount of shaft lean, but this time doing it incorrectly, the way that you're probably doing it. I'm going to hold on to these wrist angles, but have the wrist extended. Remember, the hack motion data had me too flexed when I hit these balls. That was allowing me to do two things. Number one, deliver lots of shaft lean, good compression on the ball, and allow me to draw the ball, curve the ball from right to left because the face is closed to the shaft. Let me do it the way you've been doing it. Pull the club down incorrectly, have the handle in front, but have this club face wide open with the extension. You see the ball, how far to the right of the screen it hit. No power at all. The ball's gone 91 yards. No shaft lean for sure. I was extended when I hit that ball. And we can see, looking at the hack motion data, that I was excessively extended both at the top of the swing, so as I was pulling the club down, and when I hit the ball. That club face wide open, ball went to the right. No control, no distance, certainly no shaft lean. The exercise today will help you to train the correct lead wrist mechanics to help you improve club face control, club delivery, low point control, and overall better contact. If you're looking to continue your education and further your understanding of how the wrists work in the swing, go ahead and click on the link at the bottom of this video, which is going to take you to further videos to help enhance your education on the wrist angles and playing better golf.